Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Daily English Dialogues. I'm Anna.
And I'm Mark. It's great to be back with you all. Today, we have a topic that I think every single person listening can relate to. In fact, I was struggling with it just this morning.
Oh, really? Let me guess. You were supposed to be preparing for this recording, but you ended up scrolling through social media for an hour?
You know me too well, Anna. Exactly. Today, we are talking about time management, specifically the concept of don't waste your time and how to use the hours we have more wisely.
It's a huge topic. We all have the same 24 hours in a day, yet some people seem to achieve so much, while others, like Mark this morning, feel like time just slips away.
It really does. So in this episode, we are going to break down why we waste time, how to stop procrastinating, and share some practical methods to become more productive without burning out.
Sounds like a plan. Let's dive in.
So, Anna, let's start with a definition. What does wasting time actually mean to you? Is it just sitting on the sofa doing nothing?
That's a tricky question. I think there's a big difference between idleness and wasting time. Relaxing because you need to recharge your energy is necessary. Wasting time, to me, is doing something that doesn't align with your goals or values, usually to avoid doing something important.
Right. It's that feeling of guilt you get. If I sit and watch a movie because I plan to relax, I feel good. But if I watch cat videos on my phone because I'm avoiding writing an email, I feel terrible afterward.
Exactly. That brings us to a very common trap, the difference between being busy and being productive.
Oh, I fall into this trap all the time. I will spend 3 hours organizing my email inbox, cleaning my desk, color-coding my calendar, and making the perfect cup of coffee. I feel very busy, but have I actually done the important work? No.
We call that productive procrastination. You're doing work, but it's busy work. It's low-value tasks that make you feel like you're achieving something while you're actually ignoring the priority tasks.
It's dangerous because it disguises itself as work. But why do we do it? Why does being busy feel so good?
I think it comes down to validation. In our culture, we wear busyness like a badge of honor. If someone asks, "How are you?" and you say, "Oh, I'm so busy, I'm swamped," it makes you feel important. It makes you feel needed.
That is so true. If I say, I'm not doing much today, I feel lazy. But actually, if I'm not doing much because I finished my work efficiently in 2 hours, that should be a success, right?
Precisely. There's a great concept I read about recently, the difference between motion and action.
Motion and action, they sound like the same thing.
They are similar, but the result is different. Motion is when you're planning, strategizing, or learning. You're preparing to get a result. But action is the behavior that actually delivers the result.
Can you give me an example?
Sure. Let's say you want to write an article. Motion is searching for topics, setting up your laptop, or reading tips on how to write better. Action is typing sentences on the page. You can spend 6 hours in motion and feel exhausted, but you haven't produced anything.
Wow, that hits home. I spend a lot of time in motion. I love planning. I can spend a whole week planning a workout routine, researching the best gym shoes, and watching fitness videos.
But did you go to the gym?
Not once.
Exactly. That is the trap. Motion feels like progress, but it isn't. You need to catch yourself and say, okay, enough planning. It's time for execution.
So how do we distinguish between the tasks that matter and the tasks that are just motion?
Have you heard of the Pareto principle, also known as the 80-20 rule?
I have. It states that 80% of your results come from only 20% of your efforts.
Yes. So being productive means identifying that top 20%. Being busy is focusing on the other 80%, the trivial details, the endless meetings that could be emails, the perfectionism.
Perfectionism is another big one. Sometimes I spend hours tweaking the font size on a presentation or looking for the perfect image. It feels like work, but does it change the outcome? Probably not.
That is classic fake work. It soothes your anxiety because you're interacting with the project, but you aren't risking failure by actually finishing it.
So, to summarize this part, being productive isn't about how many items you cross off your to-do list. It's about whether you did the right items.
Spot on. You could do 10 things today and be unproductive, or do one single high impact thing and be incredibly productive. It's about impact, not volume.
That requires a lot of self-discipline, but surely we can't be productive 100% of the time. That sounds exhausting.
No, absolutely not. And that is where people get time management wrong. They think it means filling every second with work. Actually, using time wisely means knowing when to work hard on that top 20% and when to switch off completely.
Let's talk about the biggest enemies of time management, the distractions. In the modern world, I feel like our attention spans are shorter than ever.
It's true. We live in what experts call an attention economy. Apps, websites, and news channels are all fighting for our attention because, for them, our attention equals money. The biggest thief of time is usually the smartphone.
I read a term recently called doom scrolling. It's when you just keep scrolling through bad news or social media feeds for hours, even though it makes you feel anxious or bored. You just can't stop.
Yes, the algorithms are designed to keep us hooked. But have you noticed it's not just about the time you lose while scrolling, it's the switching cost.
The switching cost? What does that mean?
It refers to the mental energy it takes to switch your focus from one task to another. If you are writing a report and you stop to check a WhatsApp notification for just 30 seconds, it doesn't just cost you 30 seconds.
Right, because I have to figure out where I was in the report, what I was thinking, and get back into the rhythm.
Exactly. Studies suggest it can take up to 23 minutes to fully regain your focus after a distraction. So if you check your phone every 10 minutes, you're essentially never fully focused.
That is terrifying. We're constantly working in a state of, what would you call it, semi-focus?
Continuous partial attention. We're paying attention to everything a little bit, but nothing deeply.
This leads us to the other big thief, multitasking. I used to put excellent multitasker on my CV. I thought being able to juggle 5 things at once was a superpower.
Many people do, but neuroscience tells a different story. The human brain cannot truly multitask. We just task switch very quickly.
So when I'm listening to a podcast and writing an email at the same time,
You aren't doing both simultaneously. Your brain is rapidly shutting down the listening center to turn on the writing center, back and forth hundreds of times. This burns glucose, brain fuel, very fast.
which explains why I feel so exhausted after a day of multitasking, even if I haven't physically moved.
Exactly. It kills your flow.
Flow. That's a state where you are completely absorbed in what you were doing, right?
Yes, when you are in a flow state, time seems to disappear, but in a good way. You're hyper-focused and highly productive. Multitasking makes flow impossible.
But distractions aren't just digital, are they? What about our physical environment?
Absolutely. A cluttered desk, a noisy room, or even open tabs on your browser. These are visual noise. Every item on your desk that isn't related to your current task is pulling a tiny bit of your brain's processing power.
I am definitely guilty of the open tabs problem. I currently have about 40 tabs open on my browser. I keep them open just in case I need them.
That is mental clutter. It's like trying to work with a swarm of bees flying around your head. To beat these thieves, you have to be ruthless.
Ruthless how?
You have to design your environment. Put the phone in another room, close the tabs, turn off notifications. You cannot rely on willpower alone. You have to remove the temptation.
That makes sense. Willpower is a limited resource. If I have to fight the urge to check my phone every 5 minutes, I'm wasting energy just fighting myself.
Precisely. Make it easy to focus and hard to get distracted.
Okay, Anna, I'm convinced. I waste time, I multitask too much, and I have continuous partial attention. Help me out. What are some concrete strategies I can use to fix this?
Let's look at a classic method. It's called the Eisenhower matrix. It's named after the 34th U.S. President Dwight Eisenhower, who was known for his incredible productivity.
I think I've seen this. Is it that box divided into 4 squares?
Yes, imagine a large square. You draw a line down the middle and a line across the center. This gives you 4 smaller squares, or quadrants. It helps you categorize every single task in your life based on 2 specific criteria: urgency and importance.
Okay, but wait. Aren't urgent and important the same thing?
Ah, that is the million-dollar question. No, they are very different. Urgent means it requires immediate attention. It's screaming at you right now, like a ringing phone.
Important means it contributes to your long-term mission, values, and goals. I see. So a ringing phone is urgent, but if it's a robocall trying to sell me insurance, it's definitely not important.
Exactly. So let's break down the 4 quadrants. Quadrant 1 is urgent and important. These are the crises.
Like, my kitchen is on fire.
Yes, or the project is due tomorrow and I haven't started. You have to do these immediately. We call this the do quadrant.
Okay, that seems obvious. If there's a fire, put it out. What about the next one?
Quadrant 2 is not urgent, but important. This is the productivity zone. This includes planning, exercising, learning a new language, or building relationships with your family.
I see the problem here. Because they're not urgent, we ignore them. No one's shouting at me to go to the gym today.
Exactly. We ignore quadrant 2 until it's too late. If you ignore your health, quadrant 2, for 10 years, suddenly you have a health crisis, quadrant 1. Using time wisely means spending as much time as possible in this second quadrant. We call this the decide or schedule quadrant.
That makes sense. Prevent the fires before they start. Now, what about quadrant 3? This is the one that confuses me. Urgent, but not important.
This is the deception quadrant. These are tasks that feel like work, but they don't help you achieve your goals.
Can you give me an example?
Imagine you're working on a big report. Suddenly, a colleague walks over and says, "Hey, can you help me fix the printer? It's jammed." It's urgent, the printer is broken right now, but is it important for your career or your deadline?
No, it's important for them, but not for me.
Precisely. It's an interruption. The strategy for quadrant 3 is delegate. If possible, ask someone else to do it, or politely say no.
Delegate. That's a useful word. It means giving the task to someone else. But what if I can't delegate? What if I live alone?
Then you have to minimize it. Don't spend your best energy on it. Do it quickly and move on. Don't let quadrant 3 eat up your whole day.
Got it. And finally, quadrant 4, not urgent and not important.
This is the delete quadrant. Pure waste. Mindless TV, scrolling through social media, sorting junk mail, excessive gaming.
But Anna, we need downtime. We can't be robots.
You're absolutely right, but there's a difference between rest and quadrant 4. Rest rejuvenates you. Quadrant 4 usually just numbs you. If you're watching a movie you love, that's quadrant 2, recreation. If you're flipping through channels, staring at the screen for 3 hours because you're bored, that's quadrant 4.
That is a harsh truth. So the goal is to delete quadrant 4, delegate quadrant 3, manage quadrant 1, and focus on quadrant 2.
Ideally, yes. If you sort your to-do list this way, you usually find that you have a lot less real work than you thought.
That helps with prioritizing. But let's be honest, Anna, knowing what to do is the easy part. Actually doing it is where I fail.
You mean the emotional side of things?
Exactly. Sometimes I know a task is a quadrant 1 crisis. I know I have to do it, but I just stare at the screen. I feel a mental block. Is that just laziness?
No, Mark, and it's very important that you stop calling yourself lazy. Research shows that procrastination is usually an emotional regulation problem, not a time management problem.
Wait, so I'm not lazy, I'm just emotional?
In a way, yes. We procrastinate because the task makes us feel something negative, maybe anxiety, fear of failure, or just boredom. To avoid those bad feelings, our brain says, "Hey, let's do something fun instead."
That makes so much sense. I avoid writing difficult emails because I'm afraid I'll say the wrong thing. So I clean the kitchen instead because I know I can't fail at cleaning.
Exactly. So how do we trick our brains into starting?
I'm ready for the secret.
There's a famous concept often attributed to the writer Mark Twain. He said, if it's your job to eat a frog, it's best to do it first thing in the morning.
Ew. I assume, and I hope, he didn't mean a literal frog.
No, the frog is a metaphor. It represents your hardest, most dreadful task of the day, the one you're avoiding. The strategy is simple. You commit to doing that one terrible task before you do anything else.
I see the logic. If I have to eat a frog, I don't want to stare at it on my plate for 8 hours.
Precisely. If you leave the hard task until 4 p.m., you carry that weight all day. It's a heavy cognitive load. It drains your energy in the background like an app running on your phone that kills the battery.
So if I eat the frog at 8 a.m., the worst part of the day is over.
Yes, and you get a huge rush of dopamine, the feel-good chemical, because you achieved something difficult. That gives you momentum for the rest of the day.
Okay, I'm willing to try it. But Anna, sometimes the frog is just too big. For example, write my thesis. That's a giant frog. I can't eat that in one morning.
That is a great point. If the frog is too big, you will choke. When a task is that huge, it's intimidating. So you need a different technique. It's called salami slicing.
You're making me very hungry today. First frogs, now salami.
Sorry, the idea is that you don't try to eat the whole sausage at once. You slice it into tiny, thin pieces. You don't write the thesis, you write one paragraph of the introduction.
That sounds much less scary.
Exactly. You make the task so small that it's impossible to say no to it. This lowers the barrier to entry. Once you start doing the small task, the fear disappears.
So tomorrow morning, step 1, identify the frog. Step 2, if the frog is too big, slice it up. Step 3, eat the first slice immediately.
You've got it. Don't check your email first. Don't look at the news. Just eat the frog.
Okay, we have the Eisenhower matrix for prioritizing and the frog for procrastination, but what about managing the actual flow of the day? Sometimes I look at a list of tasks and feel overwhelmed. I don't know where to fit them in.
That is a common problem with to-do lists. They tell you what to do, but not when. A great technique for this is time blocking.
How does that work?
Instead of just having a list, you treat your day like a school timetable. You put every task onto your calendar. You give every single task a specific time slot.
So from 9 to 10, I write a script. From 10 to 10:30, I answer emails.
Yes, this prevents you from spending all day on one easy task. It follows a famous rule called Parkinson's Law.
Oh, I know this one. Work expands to fill the time available for its completion.
Exactly. If you give yourself all day to clean your room, it will take all day. If you give yourself 1 hour, you'll get it done in 1 hour. Time blocking creates artificial deadlines that force you to be efficient.
But Anna, isn't that a bit rigid? What if I have 10 little things to do? Do I make 10 little blocks? That sounds annoying.
That brings us to a related strategy called task batching.
Task batching. What is that?
It means grouping similar small tasks together and doing them all at once. For example, checking email. Most people check email every 15 minutes. That ruins your focus.
Guilty as charged.
Instead, you create a batch block. You decide, I will process all my emails and phone calls from 11 to 11:30. You do them all in one go, and then you close the inbox.
That sounds so much more efficient. You are in communication mode, so you stay there.
Exactly. But Mark, even with blocking, we can get tired. Our brains aren't designed to focus for 4 hours straight.
True. My brain usually turns to mush after about an hour.
Then you should try the Pomodoro technique. It is one of the most famous productivity methods in the world.
Pomodoro means tomato in Italian, right?
Yes, named after a tomato-shaped kitchen timer the creator used. The basic cycle is simple. Pick a task, set a timer for 25 minutes, work with intense focus until the timer rings, take a 5-minute break.
25 minutes doesn't seem very long.
That's the beauty of it. It lowers the resistance. If I tell you to write for 3 hours, you will feel tired before you start. But if I say, Mark, can you focus for just 25 minutes? You'll say yes.
It's a psychological trick. I can do anything for 25 minutes.
Exactly. And after 4 Pomodoros, which is about 2 hours, you take a longer break, maybe 20 or 30 minutes.
Now, I have a question about the short break. Can I use that 5 minutes to check Instagram?
Absolutely not. That is the #1 mistake people make. If you switch from a computer screen to a phone screen, your brain doesn't rest.
So what should I do? Stare at the wall?
Move your body. Stand up, stretch, get a glass of water, look out the window. You need to give your eyes and your brain a complete rest from information.
I see. So it's work, rest, work, rest. It's like interval training for the brain.
That is a perfect metaphor. It keeps your mental energy high so you don't burn out by 2 p.m.
You know, Anna, as we talk about all these techniques, time blocking, frogs, tomatoes, I realize something. One of the main reasons I don't use time wisely isn't just about me. It's about other people.
What do you mean?
Well, I say yes to too many things. I help friends move house, I go to events I don't actually like, I take on extra work because I want to be helpful. I think I'm a bit of a people pleaser.
That is a massive factor for so many of us. But here's the hard truth. Time management is actually management of boundaries. You have to learn the power of the word no.
But it's so hard. You don't want to be rude or let people down. If I say no, I feel selfish.
You need to reframe that thought. Think of it this way. Every time you say yes to something minor, you are automatically saying no to something else.
That's an interesting way to look at it.
It's called opportunity cost. If you say yes to a boring dinner party on Friday night, you are saying no to resting, no to your hobbies, or no to spending time with your family. By protecting your time, you're actually protecting the things you love.
That is powerful, but practically speaking, how do I do it? How do I say no without offending someone? As an English learner, sometimes I worry my no sounds too blunt.
That is a valid concern. You don't just want to say, no, I won't do it. You need softeners. Here are a few phrases you can use to decline politely. First, you can say, I'm flattered you asked, but I'm currently at capacity.
At capacity. I like that. It sounds professional. It means my bucket is full.
Exactly. Or if it's a social invitation, you can say, I'd love to, but I have a prior commitment.
And the prior commitment could just be sitting on my sofa reading a book, right?
Exactly. A commitment to yourself is still a commitment. Another good one for work is, I can't take this on right now, but I can revisit it next week. This is a not now rather than a never.
These are great. It shows you care, but you're firm about your boundaries.
And that brings us to the emotional side of saying no. Why do we feel we need to be everywhere at once? It's FOMO.
Ah, the fear of missing out. Social media makes this terrible. You see everyone having fun at a party you didn't go to and you feel like a loser.
That fear drives us to overcommit. We need to replace it with a new concept, JOMO.
JOMO. Let me guess. Joy of missing out?
Correct. JOMO is the satisfaction of knowing you are doing exactly what you want to do, even if it means missing out on what everyone else is doing.
It sounds liberating.
It is. It's about disconnecting to reconnect with yourself. It's making a cup of tea, putting on cozy socks, and thinking, everyone else is at that loud party, and I am so happy that I'm not.
I need more JOMO in my life. I think using time wisely isn't just about productivity, it's about intentionality, being intentional with your life so you don't look back and wonder where the years went.
We're coming toward the end of our discussion, but we have to touch on perhaps the most important part of time management, rest.
This is my weak point. I often feel like time spent resting is time wasted. If I'm just sitting there, I feel guilty. I feel like I should be producing something.
That feeling has a name, Mark. It is called toxic productivity.
Toxic productivity? That sounds intense.
It is. It's the unhealthy belief that you are only valuable if you are productive. It's the mindset that says, I must be doing something useful every single second or I'm a failure.
Wow, that sounds exactly like the voice in my head. But isn't the whole point of this podcast to be more productive?
Yes, but in a sustainable way. If you try to run a car engine at 100% speed for 24 hours a day, what happens?
It overheats and explodes.
Exactly. And humans are the same. We call that explosion burnout.
I've heard that term a lot lately. Is it just a fancy word for being tired?
No, it is much more serious. Tired is when you need a nap. Burnout is deep emotional and physical exhaustion. You feel cynical, you feel detached from your work, and you lose all motivation. Sleep doesn't fix burnout. Only a lifestyle change fixes it.
That's scary. So how do we prevent it?
You have to change how you view rest. There is a famous story about two woodcutters. One woodcutter chops wood all day without stopping. He hits the tree for 8 hours straight. The second woodcutter chops for 50 minutes, then stops for 10 minutes. He sits down, drinks water, and, most importantly, he sharpens his axe.
I can guess the ending. The second woodcutter cuts more wood.
Correct, because he is working with a sharp tool. The first woodcutter is working with a blunt axe, so he has to work twice as hard to get the same result.
I love that metaphor. So resting isn't doing nothing. Resting is sharpening the saw.
Exactly. Sleep, staring out the window, chatting with a friend, or just walking in the park, these are essential maintenance for your brain.
But does rest always mean lying down?
Not at all. There is passive rest, like sleeping or napping, but there is also active rest.
Active rest? Like running?
It could be, or painting, or cooking, or playing a guitar. It's any activity that uses a different part of your brain than your work does. If you work at a computer all day, resting by playing video games isn't great, because you are still looking at a screen.
Right, you need to switch modes completely.
Yes, the goal of time management isn't to squeeze more work into your day. It is to free up time so you can enjoy your life. If you are efficient with your work, you buy yourself freedom.
That's the ultimate goal. Efficiency buys you freedom.
So listeners, here is your permission slip. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to do nothing. In fact, if you want to be successful, you must rest.
I'm going to take that advice. After we finish recording, I'm going to sharpen my saw.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to take my dog for a walk and leave my phone at home.
Perfect. All right, Mark, I think we've covered a lot of ground today. We talked about the difference between busy and productive, the danger of distractions and strategies like the Eisenhower matrix, eating the frog, and the Pomodoro technique.
It's been a great reminder for me. I'm definitely going to look at my to-do list differently today.
To our listeners, we hope this conversation helps you look at your clock a little differently. Time is the one resource you can never get back, so spend it on things that truly matter to you.
If you enjoyed this episode, please let us know in the comments. What is your biggest time waster? Is it Instagram, video games, or just daydreaming? We'd love to hear from you.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to Daily English Dialogues for more conversations to help you improve your English.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Use your time wisely.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.